What time is it, my creatives? That's right, it's photo hacking time. Or is it font hacking time? Today I'm going to be talking to you about the best font creator software out there, and no, it's not Fontself. To explain to you why this is the best professional font creator, it's easier to show you this by showing you what a bad font creator is. And Fontself is not a font creator, it is a font generator, and I'll explain as to why. And this is just a brief overview to show you the definitive differences in the two softwares. Now, I'm going to show you the best font creator software in just a second, but let me just show you this really quickly. Now, some people may find that having a Fontself generator inside Adobe is a good thing. It's actually not, because Photoshop is really buggy, and it gets even buggier when you add additional things to it. Now, when you open up Fontself, you're always going to have this message about bugs and fixes, because instead of Fontself creator actually creating a software that worked from the jump, they just released a half-assed software that basically needs to be updated every few minutes because it is so horrible. Now, Fontself has basically given people who are non-font creators, just any random Joe, that they have the ability to create a font from anything. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is absolutely not true. Now, here you can see I found this font, America, which is off the Creative Market, and you can see how poorly Fontself has created this. And you can find how a font is created by looking into, like, right-clicking on it. Like, if you go to the font and you right-click on and you look at the details of the font on your PC or Mac, you can see how it was made. Now, you can see that the ascenders and the descenders don't line up. You see holes in the font itself. This is really poorly made. None of the letters line up, as you can see here. I'm going to zoom in. You can see here, this L is too big. It should be a little higher. So you can see that the measurements and nothing is lined up. It's absolutely horrendous. It is not a font creator, it is a font generator. So just keep that in mind when you're buying stuff. Now, there is only one font creator for the PC that I would recommend and works, and it is HiLogic. The same company that I told you about that has the best font type manager, like it's like to manage and organize your fonts, they also have the best font creator. So let's go ahead and open it up. Now, I've already created a handwritten font here, and I'm going to show you a brief overview of this software. Now, when you initially open it up, it might seem overwhelming, but it's really not. So you have a manual and tutorials and FAQ and forum. It's really important that you read the manual. Excuse me. It's really important that you read the manual very closely and carefully, because this is a professional product, so you're going to have to follow directions to a T. So to create your first font, you're going to go to File, New, okay? And you're just going to name it. You can name it Handwritten, or whatever you want to name it. You can name it Go-Go Joe or Bright and Bubbly. You know, it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to cancel out of this because I've already created a font for this tutorial. So I'm just going to double click on this. And if you want to create your own font, and if you're working, because sometimes fonts, they take a while to, you know, create. If you want to, you know, come in here and you're working on a font and you're not done with it, you can just save file, save project, and then just save it to your desktop, and then you can just double click and open it and work back on it again. So here we are in the panel here. This panel on the side is called the Font Overview panel, okay? If you're ever getting lost and don't understand the panels, on page 4 of Font Creator Help, it tells you all the names of the panels. Because when I was reading the directions to this, I was like, where is the Fonts Overview panel? Because I can't find it. Yeah, so it will be in the directions there, the whole brief overview, if you're having trouble finding the names of certain things, because this is a new software and we don't know these things, you know. So if you look in here, I've already created 2 little fonts here. I've created the number 3 And if you double click on it, you can look and you can see right away that this has better measurement than the Fontself generator. And you could see here that we're doing pretty good so far. And let me just say that I am by no means a font creator. I have the worst handwriting, chicken scratches if you ask me. So I'm not a professional font. I'm a graphic designer, but I've never really have been into creating fonts because I've never found a software that allows me to do it professionally and easily. So that's why I love this software. Anyways, so to go ahead and trace over this, you're going to double click on it. And what you're going to do is you're going to choose Insert and then Free Draw Contour. Okay? And you can change the brush width, which would probably be the size. And then I'm just going to take my Wacom pen and then I'm just going to trace over this like so. Okay? And if you mess up, you could just press Control Z. And if you want to use the eraser tool, you can. I personally, that's the only thing I don't like about this, because you have to use the right mouse click key to turn your thing into an eraser. And I just felt like this should be an eraser tool up here, but it's not. It's something else. If you click over it, it will show you like a tooltip of what it does, but it's like make empty. So that's not an eraser tool. So it's a little deceptive. So once you're done with drawing your little one, you're going to convert it to contours. And now you have this like transform triangle tool. And then you can click on the back one and you can just click delete. And now you have your little one here. Okay. So then you can just minimize that. And now look, 1, 2, 3. Now, I would say that it's the only thing, some of the things that, the two negative things that I would have to say about this product is that it doesn't have the smoothing effect that Procreate has. And then the eraser tool, I wish that it had a separate eraser tool. But here's the thing. If you want to draw your fonts in Procreate, you can. You can import an image here. So that's really cool. So that's really cool in getting started. So if you want to save your work, you go to File and then Save Project. And it's going to save. So now I have 1, 2, 3. And of course you have all of the glyphs and stuff that you can do here. You've got all these different... it has all the characters, not like in Fontself generator. So you've got Latin... general punctuation, currency symbols, all kinds of stuff. Uppercase, lowercase, other letters, numbers, punctuations, marks, symbols, separators. I mean, this makes it really, really easy. You know what I mean? So I also want to get into the other aspect of this product. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, so up here in the font properties, if you click on that, you can change the weight and you can make different versions of your font, which is really cool. You can make it bold and italic. You know, this is the kind of stuff that Fontself generator does not do. You'd have to create these separately. As far as I know, you've got the typography family, subfamily. You can create additional font styles, negative, outline, oblique, strikeout, underscore. You can add your copyright notice, a trademark, just different licenses and stuff like that. The designer, you can put your URL in here, which is really beneficial. You could create custom languages for your fonts, which is really cool. You can set up metrics, general. This is where it gets into some little complicated stuff with, you know, offsetting. But if you're an advanced font creator, this is something that you can get into if you're really into that. You have different things that you can change here as well. The vertical spacing and all that. I wouldn't mess with any of this until you've gotten you know, the basics down, but it's there if you want, so that's really cool. You've got ranges and characters, design languages, all different kinds, and then you have characteristics, stroke variation, letter form, midline, class, subclass, and then you can even add smoothing to it. So that's really cool. And I'm just going to press OK because I'm not going to do anything there. And then I want to show you the font designer as well, that area. So once you've finished your whole alphabet here, you've got the type designer here and the kern wizard. So you can go ahead and align your font and, you know, perfect it so that way it is metrically correct, not like Fontself generator. So that's really cool. I would not suggest going into this until you've created your whole alphabet though. So this is definitely something cool and something that you should take a look at. Want to trace over an open or installed font? Then you can click here and you can pick any font that's already installed on your computer. Let's say that you want to copy this script. You want to learn how to trace over a script font. Now you can come in here and you can do the scripty font. You can trace over it and make your own font based on like a script font. And this is a great way to practice learning how to create fonts. Very fun stuff. So once you have your font created, you want to create different variations, then you can, whoops, wrong one. You can open the transform wizard. You could create different effects. I'll show you in Photoshop. So this is kind of like an inversed font. So basically creates the outlines and stuff like that. You can create cool effects like that. So you can create different variations of your fonts. If you've ever wondered how, you know, some font creators create like 20 different fonts of the same font. They're not creating each font individually. They're using a professional software like this to automatically do it. So you can add all kinds of cool fonts here, and that's really cool. So you can internally test it too. So if you click this little ABC with the little magnifying glass, you can see how the font is looking so far. And I think the 1, 2, 3, I think it looks good, but I think that it needs to be a little bit thicker. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you're looking for a thin font, I can make a thin and a thick version of this. So, hey. One of the best things about this program is running the validation wizard. So what this does is that it checks for duplicate components, empty components, overlapping components, duplicate contours, contours with 1 or 2 points, contours with incorrect direction, off curve, redundant points, duplicate nuts, intersection coordinates, and suspicious points. And you can check the box, like go back and fix detected problems. Click next, and one glyph has been partially fixed. And you can save it as a text, and that's it. So that's pretty cool. So you can go back and look and see what was fixed and what not. Another cool feature is that you can create SVG fonts, color SVG, color, monochrome, and auto, and this option is here. Another cool feature is you can add notes to your fonts and information. So let me go ahead and show you that. So to get to the notes, you're going to go to View, Toolbars, and then you're going to go down to User Notes, and it will pop up here, and you can type up, you know, need to smooth my font, or just whatever note that you want to write here. So say for instance you wanted to add additional wingdings, whatever those wing bats, you know what I'm talking about, the drawing characters in the font, like the additional like quotes and sayings and stuff like that. You can add them by clicking these plus fonts. You can add additional glyphs, and and characters, or the wingdings or whatever, and you just click on the one that you want to add, like this little ampersand thing. You can add it into here and press OK, and it will add it into your list. You can find all of the other characters that you need to trace over in the font overview window. So it's this thing here. You've got uppercase letters, lowercase letters, other letters, numbers, currency signs, punctuation, marks, symbols, separators, your other things here, that would be here, Latin. You have undefined characters, Latin combining, general punctuation, currency symbols, letter-like symbols, and the list goes on. So, I mean, you can add other issues here. You have 1/2 AE number. So, I mean, it is very extensive as far as everything. You have your SVG, your color, all of this stuff here. And I know it seems overwhelming, but if you really want to get into font creating and you want to be a professional font creator, there's a lot of money in it. I know that Nikki Latz from Creative Market, she uses a professional software. She makes over $1 million a year, and the gist of her content is font creation. So there's a lot of money to be made in font creation. Now, these fonts that are created with the font generator, they don't generate much revenue because they're not quality fonts. And let's just face it, professionals are not going to spend that kind of money on a font. Now, really good fonts that are made professionally, like that are crafted with a professional software, can generate thousands of dollars. There's certain fonts that literally can cost up to $10,000. A lot of major corporations will buy these fonts and license, and there's so much money to be had in this if you want to do it the right way. But using a font generator like Fontself Creator is not a professional software, and it's not going to get you the type of contracts or the type of money or the type of recognition that this software will. And it is affordably priced, and it's definitely worth it. You can actually buy and sell fonts with this software, and this makes it so much easier to create fonts because everything is accurate. And I haven't even gotten into these tools here, all of these other tools here that allow you to really customize your font. So last feature, in case I didn't mention it, was importing your fonts. Now, if you click here where it looks like an AA, you can actually open and install fonts from your desktop. You would just need to install them, and then you could trace over them. So let's say if you wanted to open this and go in here and trace over it, you can. So that is the last feature I want to go over. And now I want to talk about the price points for this. So let's get into that. So here you have your home, your standard, and professional edition. And in the home, you can't use this software for commercial purposes. So if you plan on selling your fonts, home is not the edition for you. Now, the standard edition does not include a very important feature that you will need, which is the font validation. Not the optical metrics that I talked about. One of the most complex and time-consuming tasks in font design is finding the best spacing for each individual character so it looks good in combination with other characters. The optical metrics feature analyzes sets of most common characters and then uses an algorithm to find the best left and right side bearings of each of these glyphs. So here we're using AI to get the best version of your font, which is a really cool feature, and I think it's definitely worth it. So the professional edition is the one I'm going to recommend if you're really serious about making fonts and making money from fonts, because it is a very lucrative field that you can do from anywhere around the world, and $199 is a small investment. So I definitely recommend this if you're going to get into font creation, especially if you're on the PC and you don't have a Mac. I know that there's a lot of alternative, you know, font creators and font generators on a Mac, but for the PC, this is the only one. Just like the font manager that I recommended is the only one for PC, and this is a very, very good software creator. I mean, I'm usually very highly critical. I'm a very highly critical person, and I don't usually recommend things unless they are legit. So let's just keep it real. But thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to sub if you like this video. If you want more videos like this, please leave a note in the comments. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a great day, guys.